Hi guys, welcome to part 3 of how you can buy quality or a quality finished apartment property, villa, townhouse in Dubai. Look, if you haven't watched the other first and second part, because this is a 4-part series that I'm releasing on ensuring that you can buy quality in Dubai. My name is Fahd Dawood. I've been doing real estate for 14 plus years. Internationally, I am the author of The Intelligent Real Estate Investor. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon. If you've got questions, general, that would be helpful for others, you can put them in the comments section below. I will take them up and answer them. If you want to work specifically with me from start to finish, I do offer a VIP package, or if you want just specific service such as running a strategy session, understanding where you should be going with your real estate investment, or pricing and negotiation, there's a way to get in touch with me in the description. Okay, check this out. Now we're coming to the real meaty part. We covered in the first video, giving you a little background on why we are where we are, right? So, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, things were different. People were building to own, just to sublease out. So because they own the assets, essentially speaking, they were in the game of making sure that the buildings were of high quality. But as freehold took off, things kind of got out of hand, and sometimes developers didn't realize that real people, real humans are going to be living in these apartments, and these aren't just doll houses, right? Now, 2013 onwards, I gotta say 2013, 14 onwards, the building quality has gone up, okay, generally speaking. Now, what I've also covered for you is in part 2 of understanding the ecosystem, for you to know why sometimes corners get cut and why sometimes the developers at fault and sometimes the developers not at fault, right? Because there is an ecosystem of the developer, the consultant, and the contractor. Everybody needs to come together well to ensure that good material, good workmanship, good vision gets completely, properly executed. Now, I've got a question for you. How do you think a developer could bring things under control to ensure the execution of their vision is on point? It's very simple. I'm going to mention 3 developers without their names in Dubai that are doing this, okay? One developer is quite famous. They call themselves, okay, I'm going to say they are essentially backward integrated, okay? What does backward integration mean? Essentially, if you've done any economics, then you'll know, for example, if you're selling cars, backward integration of cars would mean that you make your own wheels, you make or procure your own rubber for the tires, okay? You procure your own aluminum or steel for the car bodies, so on and so forth, okay? There is one developer in Dubai that to a very large extent is backward integrated. So if they're making their own apartments or villas, they are procuring and bringing together their own wooden doors, their own metal frames. They've got a glass factory, right? Glass factory. So essentially speaking, what this developer is able to do is make sure the best quality material gets used. Not just that, this developer's prior experience was as a contractor, and they have built iconic buildings, palaces, universities across the world, right? So they've built palaces, universities across the world. So here's essentially the deal, okay? When you're a contractor, you know the shortcuts that other contractors are going to make. You know the tips and the tricks of the trade. And so what if you promise to deliver a high quality tower, apartments or villas, you're essentially going to make sure those tips, those tricks, those corners are not cut. And if you then control where the material is coming from, you can then ensure very high quality finish. What you just then need is good workmanship, and which they also have, good workmanship. Now, this developer, fairly famous in Dubai, I have taken engineers, other CEOs of developers, of large developers. I took one time a CEO, he turned up in his BMW with his chauffeur, and they're building a tower, 2 towers in Dubai, very large developer from Abu Dhabi. They're building towers in Dubai, and he's the CEO. He came up, he was looking, I think, for a villa for himself. I took him to see this. Developer's work, and he walked in and he said, this is amazing quality, right? He ended up saying amazing quality, and he's a CEO, and I would imagine what he would like is his own building to look like this. But guess what, right? This developer is an ex-contractor themselves, and then they're backward integrated. They kind of like have their own factories that produce this stuff, okay? There's one other developer, they're in the affordable category. So they are also, you could say, integrated because they sell home goods and services, and what do you call them, parquet flooring and stuff like that. But because they don't produce this themselves, and they're in the affordable category, this one developer, I'm not going to say that their product is finished really well, but what they are able to do is, because they're buying their materials directly from China, they're able to make it very affordable. But okay, they're not able to do high quality. So I'm not going to talk about that developer. There's one other developer. Again, guess what? This other developer does also very high work, but they are not serial developers. They're just doing one building in Dubai at the moment because they're very serious contractors. It's a construction company, and they are, I think, 100 years old, and they are building just one tower though. From my understanding, whereas this contractor has done palaces, universities, and now doing lots of developments. They're just doing one tower, but I bet you, apparently it's rumored that the chairman's going to be living there as well. I bet you their quality is going to be very, very high as well. Essentially speaking, if you've seen part 2, then you understand. If you can control the contractor who's responsible for finishing a really good high-end product, you've essentially been going to be able to deliver very good apartments. So guys, listen, really look at part 1 of this video series and part 2 for you to be able to understand why these 2 companies are the best in terms of the highest quality finish being delivered in Dubai. Now, there are other developers that do good finishes. The government, the quasi-government developers are pretty good. They do good finishes, so there's nothing wrong with them. They're pretty much up there with the good developers. But at the end of the day, if you can control the contractor, or if you're a contractor yourself, you're going to be ending up delivering high quality buildings. Now, one other thing that I'd like to address is, somebody said, well, why do buildings last only 30 to 40 years in the Middle East, right? Whereas in the US or the UK, you've got 30 to 40 years in the Middle East, whereas in the UK, you've got 500 years old buildings. What you have to recognize that, first of all, those 500-year-old buildings could have been made of stone. That's one. But also what you have to recognize is those buildings in the UK, They don't continue for 500 years the same way. The building structure stands, but the insides are completely sometimes gutted away and refurbished. So the same thing could happen in Dubai. We could see that every 30 to 40 years that they get refurbished. But essentially speaking, if you're buying today and you want to buy high quality, guess what? This is where it is. Okay, that's squeezing my experience of the last 10-14 years. Ciao for now. Hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Bye.